Perfect. Okay, welcome. My name is Megan. I will be teaching an hour of beginners yoga, so welcome. I also teach on Monday nights at 6 p.m. to 6:45, so if you ever feel like joining, please come and flow. So a couple important things about yoga is yoga should be fun, and of course you should feel safe and no pain. So if we're moving through poses and if they're feeling painful, you are your own boss. You get to make your decisions with the poses. I'll give some modifications and options, so please listen to your body and do whatever feels right. So let's go ahead and get started in a comfortable seated position. If you have a yoga block or pillows near you, those are great props to use. So I like using a yoga block when I am sitting cross-legged. I kind of just put it under my glutes. And so this can help with tight hips. And then if there's any knee pain, kind of grabbing pillows and propping really great as well. So go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seated position. And we're just going to begin by kind of channeling into our breath and really focusing. So you can go ahead and close your eyes, or either kind of just bring your gaze to a point in front of you. We're just going to begin to breathe. So we're going to kind of begin to relax your body and ease in. And we'll start by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And then a long, slow exhale out through the mouth. And so we're beginning our practice with intentional breath. And when we focus on the breath, we're really able to slow down the mind and slow down the body and really stay present. So continuing with those long breaths in through the nose. And then slow, long exhales out through the mouth. Continue with that and take the opportunity to check in with your physical body. So notice if you're feeling tension or tightness anywhere. And maybe the grip on your fingertips is feeling great. So maybe lift all 10 of your fingers up and then gently place them back down on your knees. And so in our seated position, our spine lengthening up towards the ceiling, roll your shoulders up and back. And release any tension through the face, through the jaw muscle. And continuing with that breath, if there's nice movements you'd like to take here. So maybe just kind of letting the sternum lead and kind of moving the upper body in a circle. And noticing what feels good. Moving with breath has to be an opportunity to just explore. And let it be a time for you to check in with yourself. And as we move through the practice, allow yourself to stay fluid. So relax through the fingertips, easy through the elbows. And find yourself back to a more neutral, still spot. If you're sitting on your block or pillow, go ahead and remove that. Blink the eyes open and let's take a big full breath in, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Gazing up, and on an exhale, let's take a twist over to the right. So you're going to drop your right fingertips to the floor. The left hand will rest on your right knee. And we're just twisting through the spine. We're not really grabbing or gripping with this left hand, so we're not forcing anything. It's just a gentle twist looking over your right shoulder. Again, letting your spine lengthen up towards the ceiling. Take another full deep breath in. And exhale, come back through center, nice and tall. And take a big breath in, reach the arms up. Maybe you gaze up at the ceiling. And then to the other side as you exhale. So letting your right hand grip on your left knee. And your left fingertips are just gently resting on the floor or the mat. And from here, see if you can hug your belly button in towards your spine a bit. Lengthening the spine towards the ceiling. We'll stay for another breath. So inhale. And then exhale, see if you can twist any deeper, gazing over your left shoulder. And another deep breath in. And exhale, let it go, come back through center. Gently place your right hand down on the mat. So we've just got the fingertips on the mat. Go ahead and inhale, reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. So big breath in. On the exhale, start to reach your left hand over towards the right. And so in this pose, I'm really reaching through my fingertips and I'm engaging through the arm. Should be kind of feeling a nice stretch through the side body. So the ribs and arm, and I'm just gentle here on my right fingertips. Stay for a couple breaths. You can either be gazing up at the ceiling, straight ahead, or maybe down at the floor. And on your next exhale, just come back up through center. Sit up nice and tall and prep yourself for the other side. So left fingertips are gently on the mat. Big inhale, reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Really reach through the fingertips. And as you exhale, start to reach over towards your left. See if you can focus your gaze on something. Then really feel that stretch through the right side body. So spreading the right fingertips. Take another deep breath in. And exhale, breath out, come back towards center. We'll go to the other side again. Placing your right fingertips down. Big inhale, stretch, and reach that left arm up. And exhale, reach over to the right. And from here, to go a bit into a deeper stretch, you can drop your right forearm and elbow down towards the ground. So that's resting on the ground. Still reaching and extending through your left fingertips. And on your next exhale, float back up through center, and we'll do that on the other side. So an inhale to prep and reach. And exhale to stretch. Option here to drop down to your left forearm and elbow. And awesome, exhale, press back up through center. And from here, go ahead and reach for your right leg. So you can put a hand to the sole of your right foot and a hand to the right knee. And we're just kind of squeezing it in. And we're just going to kind of rock from side to side to let your hip kind of warm up here. And for a deeper stretch on this one, you can actually kind of tuck your shin into that elbow creases and interlace your fingertips. And so I'm flexing my right foot. We're still sitting up nice and tall, so kind of lifting through the heart and sternum. Squeezing this right leg towards you, you can kind of start to feel a stretch maybe through your right glute. And then you're welcome to stay still like this, or if you want to try moving from side to side, just seeing how that feels. We're going to extend the left leg out. So drop your right hand down towards the mat just for some support. Lean back a bit and then kick your left leg out. Take a full breath and squeeze your leg in. And then on the exhale, guide your right foot kind of up and over that left leg. We're going to twist over towards the right. So drop your right fingertips on the mat. Inhale, reach that left arm up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, twist while you're hooking your left elbow here to the right knee. Again, lengthening up through your spine and twisting to gaze over your right shoulder. Another breath in. And exhale, let it go. Come back through center and go ahead and just keep twisting and over towards the left. And back through center. Come into a seated tree pose. So this right leg, I'm going to bring the sole of the right foot into your left thigh here. So start by flexing your left foot towards your face. This will give you a nice stretch through your calf and your hamstring. So as you inhale, go ahead and reach your arms up. And then on the exhale, lead with the heart here. And we're just gonna go ahead and try reaching for the left foot. So if you can get the hands there, that's great. If you can't support yourself by having your fingertips just propped on the ground. And then we, of course, like to use our breath here. So on the inhales, notice if you can kind of lengthen out just a little bit. And then on the exhale, as you let go, opportunity to maybe fold or go a bit deeper into the stretch. Stay for one more breath, inhale. And exhale out. Pressing your upper body back up. Bend your left leg, and we're gonna go ahead and grab it here with our hands. So we've got your left hand to your left knee, and this right hand is grabbing the sole of the left foot. And you get to move at your own pace. So for some poses, I prefer staying still. And then in other poses, I really like kind of wiggling around and moving. And again, we can kind of wrap the shin and the elbow creases here. Interlace the fingertips, kind of squeeze in, feel a stretch through your left glute. Again, sitting up nice and tall. And then either staying still or just gently rocking from side to side. We're going to extend the right leg out. So maybe drop your left hand down for support, kind of lean back and then straighten your right leg out. Take an inhale, squeeze your left leg in towards your chest. And as you exhale, place your left foot on the outside of this right leg. And we're going to twist here. So inhale, reach your right hand out towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, hook this right elbow onto your left knee and begin to gaze over your left shoulder. On your next exhale, float back through center and just take a gentle twist over towards your right. Bring your hands wherever you feel comfortable and supported. And coming back through center, we'll drop into that seated tree pose. So bringing the sole of the left foot into your right thigh. Flexing your right toes towards your face. And we're gonna focus on folding over our right thigh. So an inhale to lengthen and reach up, reach through the fingertips. And as you exhale, start to reach for the right foot. So we're kind of working on like folding our nose towards the knee. And if you feel yourself holding any tension in your neck or trying to kind of gaze up, see if you can kind of relax it here so it feels neutral. And exhale, notice if you can soften a bit through the belly and maybe start to even fold a bit deeper. Another nice breath in. And exhale out. Press yourself back up. Bend your right leg and bring the soles of your feet together. So coming into a seated butterfly. Again, sitting up nice and tall. Maybe the hands are just gripping the your shins here. And if you'd like to use your elbows to press against your inner thighs, that can kind of give just a bit of a deeper stretch through the hips. So some options here. You can either stay with the spine lifting straight up towards the ceiling. See if you can relax a bit through the shoulders. And maybe this is the pose for you. Another option here is pressing your elbows against the inner thighs and start kind of folding deeper towards the ground. So dropping the chest towards the feet. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. And just sort of softening a bit deeper on each exhale. Gently press your way back up. Keep the knees bent, but bring your feet to the floor and place your hands back behind you. The feet are a little bit wider than hips with distance, and we're just gonna let the knees fall to the right and then to the left. And just going from side to side here. Awesome. And once you feel satisfied like that, with that, we'll work our way into our child's pose. So our child's pose, we're kind of coming onto all, and then we're going to begin to bring your knees to the edges of your mat. Bring your feet towards one another, so you're on the tops of your feet with the big toes to touch. You're gonna drop your hips back towards your heels. And start reaching your hands forward to the front edge of your mat. So your hands should be about shoulder width distance apart. Your fingertips are really spread wide here. So you've got your index finger at 12 o'clock. And start to lower your forehead down towards the mat. And if it doesn't reach, you can, of course, use your block. You can use a pillow, or you can bend the elbows, stack hand over hand, and rest your forehead on the top of your hand. And so these modifications, of course, they're kind of like bringing the earth a bit closer towards you so that you're still grounded and supported. And in your child's pose, taking a nice breath in, see if you can lengthen a bit through the spine. And then on an exhale, see if the hips can shift their way back towards the heels anymore. So if you've got your arms reaching out towards the front edge of your mat, again, the fingertips are spread nice and wide, and we're sort of pressing into the finger pads. Engage through your arm muscles. Let the spine lengthen, and as you press your fingertips into the mat, see if the hips can come a bit closer towards the heels. And as you're in this pose, kind of just notice how you feel. So again, I like kind of doing full body scans. So just noticing if you're holding tension in your shoulders, the toes, your fingers, and maybe kind of just letting go on each exhale. And ever so gently, start to press your way up to a tabletop position. So coming onto all fours, walk your knees in a bit closer towards one another. So the knees are with distance apart, and you've got your knees right under your hips. And just like in our child's pose, fingertips are spread nice and wide. And again, remember to stay soft through the elbows here. Kind of pressing down into the finger pads. Engage through the core, and it's like we're pushing the mat away from us. We're pushing the ground away. So if you find yourself kind of sinking into your shoulders a bit and having kind of your belly button, kind of feeling this curve in your back, engage through the core. Press the hands into the mat, and so you kind of are pressing away, and we've got a nice strong core. We're really supported and grounded through the fingertips. Back of the neck stays nice and long, so keep your gaze between your two hands. We'll shift into some balancing from here if you'd like. So start by extending, kicking your right foot back behind you. And so here, I'm flexing my right toes down towards the ground. So I'm kind of kicking out through my right heel. And if you notice your right hip kind of starting to peel open, engage to the core and try to keep both hip bones pointing down towards the ground. So the right leg is really engaged. And you can stay like this, kind of just breathing, focusing on that right leg. And to go a bit farther, you are welcome to extend and reach your left hand forward. So the thumb is facing up towards the ceiling. And notice here if you're balancing, if you're starting to drop into this right shoulder. So again, remember to engage the core, press the mat away. Let's take a nice big breath in. And on the exhale, round gently in your spine and start working your left elbow to your right knee. Tuck your chin. And as you inhale, lengthen back out. And then as slowly as you need to, on the exhale, round through your spine and work elbow towards knee. Tuck your chin slightly. And again, big inhale, kick, reach out, lengthen, spread the fingertips. And exhale, curl in. And one more big inhale. And then on the exhale, drop your left hand right underneath your left shoulder. This right leg is lifted. And we're actually going to drop our right toes down towards the mat. So your right leg will stay long. And then from here, press into your hands and start working your right heel down towards the mat. This will give you a stretch through the calf muscle. And you can kind of rock back and forth here if you'd like. And then lift your right leg up. We're going to bring the left leg, the right leg up and over the left. So the right toes come down to the ground, the right leg is staying long. And if it feels okay, begin to gaze over your left shoulder. So you're looking back and maybe seeing your right toes. So this is giving a nice stretch to the right side body. And as you exhale, come back to that tabletop position. And from here, just kind of take any nice movements or circles. Maybe roll your wrists out here. Bend the elbows a little bit. And we'll go to the other side. So again, find that strong, grounded tabletop position. And we start by lifting the left leg, kick it back behind you. Flex the left foot so your left toes are facing down towards the ground. And again, engaging the leg. Keeping the back of the neck nice and long. You can stay here or lift your right hand forward. Spread your fingertip. The thumb is up towards the ceiling. Okay, and from here we'll keep going. So take a big breath in. And on that exhale, start working elbow towards knee, round in your spine. So here, hug your belly button towards your spine. Tuck the chin a bit. And inhale, kick to lengthen out. Exhale, bring in. I always feel like I have a better grasp on my body when I'm really engaging. So as you inhale, I feel like I have more control as I spread my fingertips and my toes and I engage my core. Take another breath in. Exhale, work in elbow towards knee. Awesome, take another inhale. Stretch out and now drop your right hand right underneath your right shoulder. Left leg is long, but we're going to start to drop that left foot down towards the ground. And then press a bit into the hands and see if you can start working your left heel down towards the ground a bit to get that stretch through the calf muscle. My right knee is still down on the mat. And lift your left leg up. I'm going to bring it up and over the right. So dropping the left toes down. And now begin to gaze over your right shoulder. Hopefully feeling some sort of stretch here through your left side body. Maybe through the ribs, a little bit through the hip. Awesome. Then coming back to your tabletop position. We'll come into some cat-cow. So again, hands and knees are about hips width distance apart. As you inhale to your cow pose, the belly button is starting to drop down towards the mat, getting a curve in the spine. And we're starting to kind of look up. So we don't want to strain our neck here. If you start feeling pain as you gaze up, gently back out of it a bit. And then as you exhale, we're going to round in the spine, tuck your chin, press these hands into the mat, and find your cat pose. And then inhale, belly button drops, heart lifts. And exhale, let it go, round in your spine. Squeeze your belly button towards your spine. Press into your hands. And a couple more times, use your breath. Let's do it one more time. Then back to that neutral tabletop. Soften a bit through your elbows, and if there's any kind of movements that you want to take here, just kind of working the hips around. Start to move your hands just a little bit over towards the left side of your mat. We're going to slide your right foot and leg forward. And then from here, bring your right hand to the right side. So you've got a hand on either side of the foot. So your right toe should be facing directly forward, and you've got your ankle right under your knee. My fingertips are down on the ground for support. I'm feeling a stretch here through my left quadricep and hip flexors. If the fingers are not touching the ground, this is a great pose if you have 2 yoga blocks. Fingertips could be up on some yoga blocks. So we're just gonna land here a bit. Notice if you can sink and drop into the hips a bit more as you exhale. Again, keep with a nice, steady, kind of slow and controlled breath. You know, sometimes working through hip stretches and hip opening poses, it can kind of feel uncomfortable. And so there's definitely a difference between something feeling full in yoga. Things might feel uncomfortable, and that is okay. And sometimes it's a really good opportunity to stay in those poses. If there's pain, definitely gently find your way out of it. We're going to come into a twist from this position. So leave your left hand down on the ground. Again, pressing into your right foot. Big inhale, twist and reach your right hand to the ceiling. Then as you exhale, drop that right hand down. Inhale, twist and reach your left arm up. Exhale, let it go. And again, use the breath. Inhale. So I'm reaching through my right fingertips. And on the exhale, lower down. Inhale, sweep and reach up. And exhale, lower down. Keeping a hand on either side of the foot. We'll come into a runner's stretch. So start by sending your hips towards the back edge of your mat. Work on straightening through your right leg and start flexing your right toes towards your face. And if this is feeling painful, definitely keep a bend through your knee. And then again, this is another great pose if you have 2 yoga blocks to prop your hands up on those. For a deeper stretch, you can kind of start folding your upper body a bit over your right leg. And to go into the pose deeper, really work on straightening through that right leg, folding the upper body kind of towards the ground. And that should get you a deeper stretch through the back of the right leg. And to even go further, runner's stretch progression here would be a full split, which I can't do. So again, flexing the right toes towards your face, it really helps engage this leg so you can feel the stretch. All right, start to bend through your right knee. Bring your right foot to the floor. You've still got your hands on the ground, tucking the back toes under. We're going to lift the hips up, step your left foot up and out slightly. So your left toe should be facing up towards the top left-hand corner of your mat. And we're folding the upper body over your right thigh. Release through your head and neck. Shake it out if you have to. And if this is feeling like too much, bring a bend to the knees. And something else that might help is bringing width between your feet. So as if your left foot and right foot were on train track. So that can kind of give you a wider base of support. Maybe starting to feel a stretch through the back of this right leg. And then lift, kind of lift halfway. So coming into a flat back, fingertips are maybe still on the ground here. We're just going to shift forward to an airplane pose. So the right foot is going to stay on the floor and start to lift the left heel up. So the right toes are facing directly forward. Have a soft bend through your knee. And then to stay in control, see if you can flex your left foot. Toes are facing down toward the ground. And even here, we're engaging through the core. And the hands are wherever you feel supported. And then maybe the hands start to come up around. Palms face down and fingertips reach back behind you. Really pressing into that right foot. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, come into a forward fold. So lower your left foot down. Feet are about hips width distance apart. Bend your knees and really fold in your upper body. So almost like letting your tummy and your ribs rest onto your thighs. And let the head and neck hang nice and heavy. And big exhale out. Put the hands down on the ground. We'll find our way back to our tabletop. And finding alignment here. So bringing your wrists right underneath the shoulders, spreading your fingertips nice and wide. You're going to work your hands over towards the left edge of the right edge of the mat. We'll slide our left foot forward. Bringing a hand on either side of the left foot. And your left ankle is right underneath your left knee and the left toes are facing directly forward. On each exhale, maybe softening a bit through the hips, kind of letting them melt a bit closer towards the mat. And then leaving your right hand down on the ground. Take an inhale, twist and reach your left hand up high. So spread your left fingertips. Exhale, release, and go to the other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower down. One more time, each side. Big inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more time here. Inhale, reach through your right fingertips. And exhale, release. We'll shift our way back towards our runner stretch. Tuck back toes under here. Start to straighten through your left leg. And then deciding how deep you'd like to go into this pose. So using the power of choice in your practice. If this is feeling painful or like too much of a stretch on your hamstring, bend your left knee a bit. And again, for a deeper stretch, really starting to fold the upper body kind of towards your left foot. Start bending your left knee, bring your left foot to the mat. Tucking this back till under, we're going to lift the hips, step the right foot up and out, so your right toes angled up at the corner of your mat. Working on folding over your left leg. And in this pose, we're really grounding down through the feet, and your left hip should kind of be pulling back behind you. And then moving forward to our balancing pose, airplane. So we're going to put our body weight into our left foot. Start to reach your right heel up. Use the core here, so just like in our tabletop when I had mentioned the right hip may be peeling open. We actually don't want that, so we want both hip bones facing down towards the ground. So flex through your right foot, right toes are facing down towards the ground. Hands can either stay on the ground here or for a full airplane. Start to lift in the heart, kind of heart's pulling up and forward. Reaching the arms back behind you, palms face down, spread those fingertips. Shoulders pull away from the ears for 3, 2, and 1. Softly start to lower your right foot down. Forward fold. The hips, the feet are hip width distance apart. Let's come into a ragdoll pose. So grab opposite elbows. Ground down through your feet. Relax through your head and neck. And either maybe staying still or rocking gently from the right into the left. On your next exhale, release your hands to the mat. Take a look at your feet. So the feet should be parallel. And the feet are about hips width distance apart. So notice if you can feel all 4 corners of your feet. From here, we will inhale to a halfway lift. So bringing your hands to your shins. You're not really pressing into the shins with too much force. Just kind of giving a gentle press into the shins so you can get a flat back. And the heart is pulling forward. Your shoulders are pulling away from your ears. Belly button is hugging in towards your spine. On the exhale, fold. Bend the knees a bit and really let go in the upper body. We'll do that 2 more times. So as you inhale, come into your halfway lift. Nice back here. The gaze is just down at the front edge of your mat. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Stay soft through your knees. And now really press down through your feet. As you inhale, start to roll your body up to stand. Maybe you're just letting your arms hang heavy, kind of tucking the chin a little bit. Really ground down through your feet, so start to engage the muscles of the legs. So it's like the kneecaps are pulling up. You can feel the quads turn on. And we'll come into mountain pose. So for mountain pose, we're really rooting down through the soles of our feet. Your shoulders are rolling down and back. Your hands are by your side with your palms facing forward. And if you'd like, gently close your eyes. And take 3 deep breaths. From here, we'll move through some half sun salutations. Press into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up. You can either look straight ahead, or you can even start to press your hips forward a bit, beginning to gaze up at the ceiling so you've got a gentle back bend. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees a bit, feet are still parallel, and fold. Inhale into your halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Next, inhale, stand tall, so rise all the way up. And bring the arms with you, so big inhale, reaching them up. Bring the palms together to touch. As you exhale, pull your hands to heart center. Ground down through the feet. Relax through your shoulders. And we'll do that again. So inhale, press and reach up. Option for a baby back bend. Exhale, bend the knees as you fold forward, really pressing down through the feet. Inhale, lift halfway. Breathe out as you fold forward. Rise up to stand. Inhale and lift up. Arms reach up, palms come together. And exhale, pull hands to your heart center. Roll your shoulders back. We're standing up nice and tall. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, press and reach. Use the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands are just coming to your shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press to your feet. Rise up, so feel tall here. Engage the legs, reach the arms up. Palms come together, exhale, hands at heart center. We're going to move forward to Sun Salutation A. So as we go through the Sun Salutations, they're used to really connect breath and body and begin to warm up the body. So kind of stoke that inner fire. So let the shoulders relax. And here we go. Inhale, press through the feet, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Don't forget to stay soft through your knees. Inhale, come into your halfway lift. Halfway lifts are also great for yoga block. Exhale, fold. Place your hands down on the mat. We're going to step back to a high plank. You can always drop to your knees for a high plank. Spread your fingertips nice and wide. Stay soft through your elbows, and your shoulders should be just about right over your wrists. The backs of your legs are lifting up towards the ceiling. So the legs are engaged. And from here, why don't we drop our knees down? Take a breath in. As you exhale, bend your elbows, but squeeze them in towards the. It's going to lower all the way down. Flip onto the tops of your feet. As you take a breath in, we'll come into Cobra Pose. So maybe scooting your hands forward just a little bit so that they're under your shoulders. Your elbows are staying bent. As you inhale, lift your chest up off the mat. And exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under. We're going to press back into our first downward facing dog. So maybe you progress through a tabletop. And then from here, so the toes are tucked under. Hands are hips width distance apart. Press into the finger pads, bend the knees, lift your hips up. So let's start with downward dog with really bent knees. Heels are away from the mat. See if you can lift your hips up towards the ceiling. So in downward facing dog, press into your finger pads. We want to take the weight out of the wrists. And another way to help with that is by really engaging the muscles of the arms. So if this doesn't feel good, another modification or option would be Dolphin Pose. So you do that by bending your elbows, bringing your forearms to the ground. And this can actually sometimes feel a bit more intense on my shoulders, the Dolphin Pose. Again, so stay soft, keep the knees bent, For now, heels are pulling away from the mat. Okay. Start to walk your feet forward up to your hands. So the downward facing dog can be a bit of a tricky pose. So from here, inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, press through your feet. Sweeping the arms up. Bring the palms together as you exhale, hands to heart center. Sitting up nice and tall, we will do that again. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Hands either on the floor or at your shins. On the exhale, plant your hands down on the ground, step back to your high plank. You always have the option to drop your knees. Again, stay really active in your core, just like in our tabletop, pressing the earth away from us. On a nice exhale, start to lower down. So bend the elbows, let them graze the ribs, and slowly lower down. Flip onto the tops of your feet, and then inhale, cobra. So heart is lifting up off the mat. I'm just gently pressing into my hands here. Elbows are squeezing in, and you can even gently lift your hands up off the floor. So really we're mostly using our upper back muscles, kind of pressing into the hip bones and using the glutes. On your exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under, shift back to downward facing dog, maybe flowing through a tabletop. Lifting your hips up, and if your downward facing dog is feeling a little funky, play around with the distance between your hands and your feet from the front edge to the back edge of your mat. So for me, I am 5'10", so I've got a lot of space here between my hands and my feet, but for a shorter person, there would probably be less space between the hands and the feet. So play around here. And even in down dog, stay loose through your elbows. Let the head and neck drop, stay loose through the knees. And then in downward facing dog, to get a deeper stretch, start to work the heels down towards the back edge of your mat. So that will give a stretch to the backs of the legs. Start to gently walk your feet forward, up to your hands. The feet are parallel, hips width distance apart. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, let's lift halfway, hands up to the shins, heart pulls forward. Breathe out and fold. Rise up to stand, big inhale. Arms reach up, palms come together on the exhale, hands to heart. And here we go. Let the breath in begin. Arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Let the heart lead the way as you fold forward. And then as you inhale, lift halfway. So heart is lifting up. Back of the neck is nice and long. On the exhale, plant your hands down, step back to your high plank or your modified high plank. We're going to exhale, lower all the way down. Really start to bend your elbows. Keep your core engaged here. Cobra Pose. Flip onto the tops of your feet. Elbows squeeze in. Heart lifts. So if you want to go a bit farther, here we can come into an upward facing dog. So really pressing into your hands and straighten through your arms. Heart's lifting and the hips are gliding forward. Again, it's soft through the elbows here. And just kind of maybe look over your right shoulder, left shoulder. And then as you exhale, we'll flow back to downward facing dog. So start to tuck your toes. Send the hips back and up. Let's build a warrior one. So step your right foot forward between the two hands and spin your left foot down. So your left toes are angled up at your top left corner. Your right toes are facing directly forward and you've got your right knee right over your right ankle. Really press down through your feet. We want to anchor down here. Then when you feel like you've got a nice base, keep your right knee bent. This left leg, we're working on it to be straight. And so to protect the right knee, if you notice your right knee dipping in towards the middle of your mat, that can not be the greatest for your knee. So you're almost squeezing your knee towards your right pinky toe. And again, if you can bend deeper, like maybe the thighs kind of almost come parallel with the floor, you want to adjust your foot so the knee stays right over the ankle. Let's start with our hands at our hips here. If you notice, you're peeling open towards the left, this open space. We, again, want our hips to be squared forward, so we do that by bend a little bit out of the right knee. Let this right hip pull back. This left hip pulls forward, and then bend into the right knee. And then from here, you can lift your arms up towards the ceiling. So in Warrior One, we're like hugging energy up and in. We're so strong in the foundation here. Just check in, see if you can see all four corners of, feel all four corners of your feet. Relax your shoulders. And if you've got a nice focus point in front of you for your eyes, see if you can just keep your gaze there for the few seconds that you hold this. So the arms are reaching up, palms face one another. Really grounding down through the feet, maybe dropping a bit deeper into your right leg if you can. And now we have an opportunity for a little bit of a back bend. So as you take an inhale, take a little back bend here if you'd like. Gaze up at the ceiling maybe. And then exhale, we're going to come back into our high plank. So bring your hands down towards the ground. Place them on your mat. Send your right foot back, high plank. Option to drop the knee. Exhale, lower down. Inhale to your Cobra Pose or upward facing dog. So flip onto the tops of the feet. Keep the elbows squeezing in towards your ribs. Big breath in, let the heart open up. And exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Shifting to the other side, bringing our left foot forward. So either stepping forward or just using your hand and kind of pulling it forward. Let your right ankle, the right foot spin down, the right toes are angled up at the top right-hand corner of your mat. Left toes facing directly forward. Left ankle is right underneath the left knee. And if this is feeling painful on the legs, you can bend a bit through the back leg here. And again, you can give yourself more width between the left foot and right foot. So again, giving yourself kind of some more balance. And again, if you notice yourself, your hips are like peeling open towards this, the right, bend out of this left leg. See if you can kind of send this, your left hip back and let this right one pull forward and then sink in. And again, keep adjusting yourself as you kind of progress and you build this pose. So watch the knee. If you find it dipping into the middle, see if you can squeeze it towards the left side of the mat. Check in with all four corners of your feet, see if you can feel them. And hands can either be at your hips or if you feel nice and ready, go ahead and lift them up towards the ceiling. The biceps are by your ears, palms face one another. I always feel, my goal is to feel really firm in this foundation for Warrior One. But then as the pose kind of gets built, I try to create this lightness in my upper body. Okay, opportunity for a little bit of a back bend. So on an exhale, if you'd like, reach up and back. But as you do, see if you can stay low in your front knee. And then exhale, take your time. Bring your hands down towards the ground. Step back to your high plank. And from here, you can either drop the knees. Let's lower all the way down. Drop it down to either a low plank or bringing your body all the way down. Flip onto the tops of your feet. As you inhale, find your cobra or your upward facing dog. And exhale, soften, let it go. Tuck those toes. Last downward facing dog. Shake your head, yes. And shake it, no. And then yes again. Let's roll out to a high plank. We're going to come into a modified side plank here. So taking the side plank on the right hand is going to stay down on the floor. Going to roll onto the pinky edge side of this right foot, and the left foot and leg is actually going to drop back behind you, so the left toes are on the floor. You're really strong through this right leg. Flex that right foot. Ground down through your right hand. If you would like, reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. You can also bend the elbow and just keep the hand at the hip. Okay. See if you can move with some control and grace and find your way back to that strong high plank. Power up through the core. Left hand is down on the mat, so your shoulders coming right over your wrist. Roll into the pinky edge side of this left foot. Flex your left foot, engage the left leg. Bend your right knee and drop it back behind you so your left toes, your right toes are on the floor. So that's kind of giving you some extra support. Lift your hips up, engage your core, reach your right fingertips to the ceiling. You can either gaze up, straight ahead, or down at the floor. So see what one feels best for your neck. Okay, exhale, coming back to that high plank. Power up in that core, drop your knees. And drop to your hips. Flip onto the tops of your feet, bend your elbows a lot here. You can either stay still or gently go from side to side, looking over your right shoulder and your left shoulder. Okay, from here, this will be our last downward facing dog. We're just gonna come to downward facing dog just for a moment. Lift those hips up. We're going to bring our feet up towards our hands, so you can either walk them, or if you'd like, a nice bend in the knees, and jump your feet forward and lower down. Come to lower all the way down, so keeping the knees bent, feet on the floor. We'll come into a bridge pose. We want your ankles to be right under your knees. So walk your heels back towards your glutes. You can see if you can use your fingertips to touch your heels. The feet are hips width distance apart. We're going to press into your feet and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Keep your gaze directly at the ceiling. If you kind of start to look right and left, it can just be a lot on the neck. So pressing into the feet, lift the hips up. This is a really great pose for a block. You could put a block between your knees. You want to hug your knees in towards one another, and that will engage them, and it will kind of stop them from falling out towards the edges of the mat. So press into the feet. See if you can let those hips lift a bit higher. Another breath in. Exhale, lower down. So lower your spine down. And from here, we'll quickly come into a glute stretch. So bend your right knee, flex your right foot, And start to squeeze your left leg in towards your chest. So interlace your hands at your left hamstring, squeeze, and so hopefully you're feeling a stretch through your right glute. And squeezing in, and when you're satisfied, go over to the other side. So cross your left ankle over your right knee. Hug the right knee in, if that feels okay. If you can definitely leave your right foot on the floor if this is where you feel a stretch. For a deeper stretch, start to hug the right leg in, interlace the fingers at the right hamstring, and squeeze in. Exhale, let that all go. Let's hug the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around the shins, press your low back into the mat. And then as you exhale, find your way to your final resting pose. So the ankles are like falling out towards the edges of the mat. Arms and hands are out towards the sides, maybe with palms face up or palms face down, or maybe you've got your hands on you. So this is what we call our final resting pose, or Shavasana. And this is famously known as the most difficult yoga pose. So the goal is to sort of just drop in and let go. Close the eyes down, kind of allow yourself to really soften. Return to a natural rhythm of breath. And of course, you can stay in Shavasana for way longer than we're about to do right now. We'll just be here for another moment. But it can be really, restorative and grounding and challenging to see if you can stay in the yoga practice, even though clearly this practice is about to end. Challenging yourself to stay in it. Start to squeeze your knees in towards your chest, and maybe bring your hands at your hamstrings and rock front to back. And we're just gonna find our way up to a comfortable seated position, just like how we started. So maybe sitting cross-legged here. Spine is lengthening up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders. Let's take a nice big inhale. Reach your arms up. Then touch. Bring your hands out heart center. Maybe you close your eyes or just gaze up forward. And while you're here, silently say something to yourself that you are grateful for. And then thank yourself, of course, for showing up and practicing. Take a deep breath in. Long exhale out through the mouth. And namaste. So thank you for joining and practicing. I hope to see you guys join in on Monday. Hydrate. Hopefully you guys feel great. And thank you for joining.